Happy, happy, happy. Angry, angry, angry. Sad, sad, sad. Lots of emotions. Great question though. What drives you? What emotion is the most powerful driver in your life? And the question from behavioural scientists is often pleasure or pain. Do you get motivated, excited by the pleasure of, or do you get motivated and excited by reducing the pain of or stopping the pain? Or do you make changes when the pain becomes so big, so great, so hurtful that you can't stand it anymore and you've got to make a change? So as an exercise professional all of my life and having managed health clubs all over the world, it's been really interesting to take note, because I always ask when somebody comes to the health club or when somebody came to me as their personal exercise coach, I always ask, why are you here? What's the reason? What made you decide to make a change? And very rarely do people, when you dig down deep, do they ever say, I'm here because I want to look fantastic, or I want to fit into my bikini, or I want to look great in my wedding dress, or I want to have a beautiful body. Now, they might say that, but when you dig down deep and you ask what exactly is going on in your head, why are you here? Pain seems to be the biggest motivator, because it was the reason they made the change. So, for example, I thought about what I would look like on my wedding day in my beautiful wedding dress if I stay looking like this physically. And the pain of having to walk down the aisle and people see me with this body on my wedding day, I had to make a change. Very common explanation people have shared with me. I saw myself in a photo or a video or in the mirror or in a reflection in the window, and I just couldn't believe how fat I was, or how out of shape I was, or how big I was, or how I had let myself go so much. And the shock of that, the pain of that, is the reason that I'm at the gym today. I have to make a change. A lot of people share with me that their partner left them, and a very interesting story, and I share this regularly. One of my clients, on her very first chat with me, said, what's your biggest driving force? Why are you here? And she said to me, I want to kill my husband. Now, that's a very powerful statement, so I said, you better tell me about that. She said, my husband's left me for a younger woman, and look at me. I'm disgusting. I'm old. I'm fat. I feel horrible. I'm just so angry. Now, obviously, she wasn't angry with him. She was angry with herself. So I do want to share with you that by training, and we picked a picture. If you're as old as me, you might know this movie, Terminator 2 with Arnold Schwarzenegger. At the start of that movie, there's a scene of a lady doing chin-ups. And she said to me, I want to look like Linda Hamilton in that movie, Terminator. I want to be able to do chin-ups like that. Because I know that if I'm that strong and if I'm in great shape, I'll feel better about myself. So the driving force was the pain, obviously, of her husband leaving her, and then she used that pain as a motivation. And she did. She got into great shape. She ended up being able to do 10 really good, strong push-ups straight off the ground by herself. In that process, she got a new job, she got a new wardrobe, she got a new boyfriend, and her boyfriend went on a trip around the world, and she bought beautiful summer clothes to be able to wear a bikini and shorts, etc. for summer. But the driving force at the start was not, I want to look good in a bikini. Now, sometimes people say that, but the challenge is if you personally want to make a change and you don't find the biggest driving force, the strongest motivation, the biggest reason that you're going to do something, is it possible that you might not do it? So I'll use a different example. I had one lady share with me that she wanted to lose weight because her husband told her that she had to. And she struggled. She told me that was the real reason, until I got the real reason, which was she didn't really want to exercise for her husband. She didn't really want to be in great shape. She had been abused most of her life, and she was hanging on to her weight because she felt like it was a safety blanket, that if I stay overweight, if I stay out of shape, then maybe I won't be attacked, I won't be abused. So there's a whole lot of things to deal with there, of course, I get that. But if you want to make a change in your life, or you, like me, are an exercise professional, a personal results coach, if you are a parent, a teacher, or a coach, and you want to help people to make change, is it possible that we have to find out what their driving force is? And if you don't ask the question, how would you know? Now, you could even ask, what is your driving force? Is it the pleasure of achieving, or is it the pain of not achieving? And somebody might tell you, well, I just want to look good in my bikini, or I just want the pleasure of feeling fantastic. But here's a real challenge with that answer. If you don't follow it up with this question, which is how long since you've felt that way, and if the answer is I've never felt that way, then the person doesn't really know what they're aiming for. And I just use a simple personal example. I've run a lot of marathons, 42.2 kilometre races, and I didn't know that I could do it until I did it. So the pleasure of running across the finish line was not a motivation for me because I didn't know that I could. But here's a big motivation for me, which was, what if I start the race and I don't finish? Losers don't finish. Undisciplined people don't finish. People who don't train hard don't finish. I don't want to be that person. So one of my driving forces, and one of the questions that I use to motivate myself to always achieve, is what would a loser do? What would an average person do? What would a give up person do? And I don't want to be that person, so I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to be undisciplined. I'm not going to lose. It's really cold out here. My fingers are starting to freeze, and my nose is running because it's so cold. And I'm sharing that with you because people often use the pain of being cold, the pain of winter, the pain of dark, the pain of I don't have time to give up on their goals. Well, I use the cold and the dark and all the other excuses that people use. I use those as a driving force for me. For me, it's if somebody else is not going to run because it's cold, or they're not going to exercise because it's dark, or they're not going to get into great shape because they haven't got time, that is my driving force. So often I ask this question of my clients: have a look at unfit, overweight, out of shape, unhappy, depressed, sick, diseased people. Have a look at what they're doing, because there's plenty of those. And that's what happens if you don't have the discipline to exercise, if you don't have the commitment and focus to be a healthy, fit, strong human being. You will end up like that. This is not a choice. It's a subconscious choice. If you choose not to eat healthy food, look after your body, have a positive attitude, get puff, lift heavy to be fit and strong, you will end up like this. And that is very, very painful. One of the big pictures I ask people to think about is, let's go forward 10 years, let's go forward 20 years, let's go forward 40 or 50 years. Let's have a look at your parents and your grandparents. How are they doing? And if they're out of shape and overweight and full of diseases and they've got poor quality of life, how can you possibly expect to do any better than that if you don't make a change now? And I'm known for those very tough, confrontational questions because I want people to make a change. I can try and motivate you to wear a bikini or look good in summer or love what you see in the mirror. But if you've never worn a bikini and you've never looked good in summer and you've never wanted to go to the beach because you don't like the way you look, that is an unrealistic picture. You can't even see it. It's like me saying, I'm going to run across the finish line at the marathon. If I've never run a marathon, I can't picture that because I've never done it before. You'll often hear rah-rah motivational people say you should have a picture of yourself achieving your goals. Well, that's great, except if you've never done it, you can imagine it, but you can't really feel it because you've never done it before. What you can feel is the pain of not doing. Because if you've ever stopped, if you've ever given up, if you've ever failed, you know how that feels. And if you don't want to feel like that ever again, then that could be the driving force. So I'll just give you two sides to that story because I live in a house with a beautiful, my husband is a world champion and his motivation is completely different. Where I say, what would a loser do? What would a failure do? What would an average person do at this stage? Which is give up, stop, and I can't do it. K-Man would always say, what will a world champion do? What will a multiple world champion do? What will a winner do? And he focuses on the positive. But he's a very rare human being. So having trained literally thousands of people, having been the personal results coach of literally thousands of people, and having run health clubs where I've asked the personal goals of everybody that's ever come into my life, what do you want to do? Why do you want to do it? Where and when do you want to do it? How will you feel if you do? How will you feel if you don't? Which are really important questions. That question, how will you feel if you achieve your goal, is never as powerful as how will you feel if you don't? What if again you fail? What if again you can't get into your clothes? What if again you look terrible in a photo? What if you keep this repetitive behaviour going, or you keep giving up and keep stopping and keep failing? how will you feel in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years time? Much easier to get people motivated for that because they've felt that before. To get somebody motivated, well, how will you feel when you achieve your goals? And they can't even begin to think, how long since you've looked good? I've never looked good, Rowie. So how can I even see that is the answer that a lot of people have given me if they've been honest with me. And I'm sharing this with you because we need to find the driving force for people. If we don't, if you're a parent, a teacher, a coach, a boss or a leader, and you want to motivate people to be healthy, fit and strong, have a career or business that they love, be financially free and have great people in their life, which as I share daily, that's what Romax is all about. That's what the Max Colleges is all about. And that's what I'm learning about every single day. They are the fundamentals of life. And if I try and convince somebody that they can be healthy, fit and strong and they can have a career or business that they love and they can be rich, wealthy, financially free and they can have great people in their life, go puppy dogs. See, they're motivated straight away. They're motivated because someone's trying to get onto our property and that would be very painful for my pit bull in particular. So if I want people to have all of those things, I've got to get them to think about what if you don't? What if you're unfit, weak, unhealthy, overweight and disgusting for the rest of your life? And that would be their word, not mine. What if you're stuck in this lousy, stinking, rotten job for the rest of your life? What if you're broke and struggling for money for the rest of your life? And what if you've always got horrible, nasty, disrespectful people in your life? And that can be very, very painful. And that could be the reason that people make a change. Now, I'm not saying I've got all the answers because I certainly haven't. What I do know is what doesn't work is trying to motivate and inspire people to do something that they've never done before versus if you really want to do this, let's find out the reasons why you haven't done them already. What are the barriers? What are the excuses? What are the justifications that you've used? Let's get rid of those so that we can go forward excited and motivated that we're not going to live like that anymore. We know what that feels like and we're going to head towards this goal. I would love everybody to be healthy, fit and strong, have a career or business that they love, be financially free and have great people in their life. But it doesn't matter what I want. You've got to want it. The people in your life have got to want it. The only way that's going to happen is if they get motivated and inspired to stop doing what they're doing now, to make a change and to go forward. And that's a really interesting thing to take note of. If you're sitting down, the only reason you move is if your bum hurts. Otherwise, you just keep sitting still. We only move when we're uncomfortable. We only move when life throws so much crap at us and life is so terrible that we need to, I can't live like this anymore. That's enough. I've had enough. So then what we perceive to be the pain of exercise or the pain of eating healthy or the pain of living differently, that becomes less than the pain of staying the same. So from my heart to yours, if you want to live a life, and I call it to the max, living at 100% energy, performance, feeling fantastic every day and loving your life, wouldn't it be a really good idea to leave the crappy stuff behind, make a change today and aim for a bright, happy, healthy, fit, strong career path that you love, great people in your life and being financially free? Wouldn't that be a great way to live your life to the max? Super duper doo, how are you? Living my life to the max. Woohoo!